Simon Goodson, Chief Executive Officer of AerFin Limited. We are an asset specialist that buys, sells, repairs and exchanges aircraft, engines, airframes and components and piece parts. Yeah, the last 36 months have been an amazing time really at AerFin as we scale the platform for future growth. Over that period of time, we've grown revenue 3.5 times, profits, so EBITDA 6 times, and at the same time grown our colleague base from 100 employees to over 200 employees. So increasing the efficiency, certainly on a revenue per employee basis. So a lot of scale, a lot of growth, and with that, much closer partnerships with the asset owners that want to maximize the exit values of the assets that they own, and joining them up with the users of serviceable material who want a lower cost supply for that material. Yeah, what differentiates AerFin is a really interesting thing for me. I think most people in the business have a range of different technical, operational and commercial capabilities. What really differentiates us though is ambition and choice and where we go and choose to do the deals. And in particular, although we're very good at working in partnership with major owners of assets, so airlines, MROs, and leasing companies that want to sell those assets. And we're very good at picking up the onesie-twosie kind of deals, single engines, single aircraft, maybe a couple at a time. What particularly makes us stand out is our ability to go and work with owners over a much longer period of time for much larger, much more complex deals. In particular, where aircraft are sometimes in trickier locations with technical records issues that need mitigating and maintenance status that is not always straightforward. So you combine volume with complexity, and that's where we come to the fore, because in that environment, it's very easy to hit upon some kind of challenge that might put us off. But we think the combination of technical, operational, commercial capabilities with a clear commitment to our customers that we will follow through really makes the difference. So the biggest pain point for our customers is that it is a supply-driven market. So they are constrained by the lack of available serviceable material through a combination of different supply chain constraints and reduced retirements that have been seen to take place in that period of time. So the way that we can help them, of course, is by our ability to originate, our ability to do that strategically at volume and provide a consistent, reliable and confident source of supply. So how are we going to help our customers? Well, as we scale up, and we're now 6 times larger than we were 3 years ago, at least in profitability terms, that means that we are able to provide owners that wish to offload their assets a much more programmatic way to do so. That gives them confidence in our reliability to do that. And in turn, that then gives our consumers of the material, the consumers of the lower cost supply of material, again, a much more programmatic supply. So all of that breeds confidence, confidence, confidence. And certainly the thing that we're seeing in the market is, although people talk a lot about price, in fact, we believe that we're winning most of our deals on relationship because of that point about confidence, about reliability, but also about our progressive capabilities to deal with the complex, to deal with the technical records issues, to deal with the maintenance issues, and not unduly renegotiate deals that have already been agreed. We at AerFin, including our shareholders Cat and Cat, are deeply passionate about sustainability. We're very keen to play a role in the industry discussion about how we can be better as an industry going forward. That said, we believe that the industry is still very immature about how it deals with these things. And we believe that the whole ecosystem, not just those that invest in new aircraft at the front end of the life cycle, but also those that invest in the middle of the cycle, those that invest at the end of the cycle have to join hands together and work out how we are going to transition to the future. And that involves, yes, working together, but also talking to governments, talking to regulators, and having a more mature debate. There's a lot of talk about workforce challenges in the aviation industry. We're really passionate about our people. Most businesses will say that, but I think that we can really evidence that, and I think our colleagues would acknowledge that that is certainly the case. We spend a lot of time working on something that we call the AerFin promise. This is the way that we do things around AerFin and gives employees the confidence that we will develop them. We spend a lot of time on high performance culture, talking to them about self-awareness, talking to them about team awareness, so that we can get a better thinking, better set of results, and better performance, so that people feel that they belong in the business. And it's that sense of belonging that actually is the most fundamental thing that we're trying to achieve. In some parts of the world, DE&I, so diversity, equity, and inclusion, is getting a little bit of a bad rap right now. Maybe it's the title, I don't know. We think about DE&I as fundamentally about belonging. If an individual feels that they belong in our business, they develop a level of psychological safety that means they will be more confident, their performance will be greater, and therefore that's why we spend an awful lot of time on that. And that flows into every area, women in aviation, women in STEM, but also embracing our differences and understanding that that is a key part of our culture. So this is an exciting period of time, not just for the industry, but especially for AerFin. We see phenomenal growth in the business, in the aftermarket, at least for the next 3 to 5 years. And I suspect we've already seen a paradigm shift in how people think about the use of used serviceable material and the role that AerFin can play in that. That said, I'm a big believer in focus, and we will stay focused. We will stay giving our customers, our owners that want to maximize residual values, the confidence that we can do that at scale, and the consumers of the material, the confidence that that programmatic supply will be there for the long term. So it's more of the same. There are some interesting areas that we would love to get into in a bit more depth to give assurance about that supply, including green time leasing that feeds us with metal for the very long term, including our MRO business, where we can do engine MRO-like business for our major partners. But yeah, a lot of opportunities out there.